we have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Welcome everyone, I'm Corey Allen and this is the Overton Report. We are in the process of getting our new studio ready. In the meantime, we'll be switching between here and our normal spot. We were in Washington, D.C. this past weekend, and man, you know, it's been one hell of a week, hasn't it? When the media announced that Biden was the projected winner, we were in BLM Plaza, and it was very strange. Now listen, I'm sure if you're anything like me, you've lost friends, you've lost some colleagues, acquaintances, and it's really strange to me. So let's look at this. In 2016, Democrats, without any evidence, repeated over and over and over and over again that our elections, they just weren't secure. And they did that all the way up until 2020. It was one thing after the next, after the next, after the next. It was some fake dossier that proved Russian collusion. It was some insane Russian interference that turned out to be completely false allegations. It was a fake impeachment that had to do with some dealings in Ukraine that Trump had that actually ended up tying directly to Joe Biden and his extortion of the Ukrainian government to get his way, to keep his son from being investigated by the head prosecutor in Ukraine. Then come to find out, China and the mayor of Moscow are paying Hunter Biden millions upon millions of dollars, and Joe Biden, the proof is there that he gets a cut. When that news comes out, the New York Post is shut down by Facebook, Twitter. The story is not allowed to be seen. Still on every single social network site and every single search engine, the search spikes, "Can I change my vote?" People were regretting voting for Joe Biden. Then, at the beginning of the year, we have this COVID situation. At the same time, we have everyone in the country saying this is the most important election we have ever had. And what do? They take unprecedented steps that are proven to be easy to commit fraud through, that are untested, that have no security measures whatsoever, mail-in ballots. And let's not get that confused with absentee ballots. And let's also remember that in a normal election year, up to 15% of absentee ballots are thrown out due to unmatched signatures or no witnesses, or they're not filled out properly. But they're not doing that this time. I wonder why. As a matter of fact, with these questionable mail-in ballots, the signatures specifically don't have to match in many states. Now let's break it down and take a look at the counting. States take a break. In Michigan, 130,000 ballots are suddenly cast for a single candidate, while Donald Trump has a lead in that state at that time of tens of thousands of votes. Suddenly, a spike that is unprecedented and statistically impossible happens. And that's not me, that's mathematicians, okay? Statistical impossibility. At the same time, we have video of men throwing away ballots. Let's watch this. We have video of people filling out ballots after ballot after ballot.
This lady is marking the ballots. I filmed her a half hour ago doing 6, and she's still working at it. Let's stamp it, received, and let's fill in our 6 blanks. All at the top of the tickets on each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's a security guard right there who's watching her. The cops are in on it. Disgusting.
And you know, I got something in an email, and he said, there's a reason people have pens. Yes, there is a reason people have pens, but I'll tell you what, that's not the reason that they have pens. There's nothing there being transcribed. There is nothing being filled out because it wasn't quite filling in the circle all the way. That's not why they have pens. Also, we have groups of people who are Republican challengers, legal challengers, keep in mind, refused entry. Then we have people that are put so far back that it takes binoculars for them to be able to see anything. This is unprecedented. And here's my big problem with it. If you have half of the nation that believes that there is some kind of fraud going on and wants at the very least an investigation, and your response to that is, or your response to that is just deal with it. I'd like to know why you are so dead set after 4 years of crying and pleading and screaming at the top of your lungs about election corruption and collusion, that all of a sudden it's just the most conspiratorial thing you've ever heard in your life, that an election could have been compromised? The cognitive dissonance that it takes to come to that conclusion or make that statement, it blows my mind. Now we have 132,000 ballots in Georgia that are being said to be ineligible. We have impossible spikes in ballots going towards one candidate in more than one scenario. We have software programs that are glitching out and sending in one single county 6,000 votes that were cast for President Trump over to Biden. And this isn't me, okay? This is stuff that the media is actually reporting. They're saying this to your face and then telling you, but it doesn't matter. We have studies coming out that say nearly 5% of people that voted for Joe Biden early, because remember they pushed those mail-in ballots, regret their vote because of the evidence presented in the Hunter Biden scandal, where he's paying his father a little cut off the top. We have Biden in these hotly contested states where Donald Trump was up hundreds of thousands of votes, just trickling in, and now he's leading in those states by less than 1%, Joe Biden is. We have not a single certified state, and then we have the media saying that they are the ones who are able to call the election. They're saying that they're the ones entrusted with that responsibility. No, sir. No, ma'am. No way. No how. You are not entrusted with that responsibility. We don't trust you with anything, much less the most important election of our lifetime, when you've spent the entire year scaring people into covering their faces, closing their businesses, and shutting down their entire cities as leftists, at the behest and dismissal of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, burned cities, killed people, looted stores. And then you want us to believe that more people voted for Joe Biden than any other presidential candidate in American history when he couldn't fill a gymnasium 2 weeks ago? How dare you? How stupid do you think the American people are? And of course, now Joe Biden has said, after lying in the debate, that he will be going, his first course of action will be to institute mask mandate throughout the nation, either through governors, and if governors refuse, then through localities and municipalities. And this is incredible. Not only that, but now all of a sudden we have different medical companies and pharmaceutical companies coming out and saying, wait, you know, COVID's actually not quite as dangerous as we thought it was. Yeah, we know, we told you that. Then all of a sudden, we have Pfizer coming out and saying that they have a vaccine that's 90% effective. Wow, the timing. Oh, wait, you know what? That would be another campaign promise that Donald Trump kept. They were telling him he was stupid. There wouldn't be a vaccine until late 2021 given out to the people. He said, no, I think we're going to have it before the end of the year. Lo and behold, the president was right again. This is insane. We sent 1.1 million stimulus checks to dead people. And you sit there and you claim that our government has it all under control? That there are no legitimate questions about this election? Shame on you. Shame on you for trying to make us believe that. Shame on you for not heeding the concern of half of the nation. If half of the nation is disenfranchised and believes that corruption happened and fraud happened, and there is evidence of it. Now, nobody is saying that 100% of the evidence that has come forth is 100% true, but when you have 50 witnesses in different states saying that their postmasters forced them in Pennsylvania, for example, to backdate ballots that came in after the deadline, that's questionable. And that's proof. When you have film of ballot counters throwing ballots away, that's questionable. When you have 100% of 138,000 vote count going to one candidate and watchers were not allowed to participate when those ballots were being counted, that's questionable. When you have 6,000 votes in one county going from one candidate to another mistakenly because of a glitch that's used in 30 states, that software being used in 30 states, that's questionable. That deserves an investigation. And for you to say otherwise is entirely disingenuous. I don't understand. I don't understand why you would not want free, fair, and secure elections. My last point regarding the irregularities, and there are so many, is that over 145 million people are said to have voted in this election. In 2018, there were 153.6 or 7 million registered voters, taking into account a record-breaking estimate of 5 million new voters that registered on the day of. Let's say it's up to 158. That means 92% of the population of the registered voters voted. That means that the voter turnout of registered voters was 92%, blowing previous records out the water by 10 to 15 points. If you listen to the not registered voters, but the number of eligible voters, we are still in record-breaking numbers of 70 some odd percent. Nationwide, registered voters is probably the safer data set to look at. So we're at 92% turnout of registered voters as a conservative estimate. That has never happened before, and it never will happen. It's not true. So to say there are no legitimate questions, and to dismiss people who are asking those questions, and to just say, look, you've got to stop talking about this because what you're doing is undermining the system. No. Calling out fraud is not undermining the system. Committing fraud is undermining the system. And to portray that argument in any way but that is a disgrace. And if you're the type of person who will stand for that type of fraud to happen, and you don't want to know any of the answers to the legitimate questions being asked, well, congratulations, you've given your government up to a banana republic. I won't live in a banana republic. I demand answers, and thank God half of the country is with me in demanding those answers. Stay strong, stay safe, stay smart, be prepared, and don't stop asking these questions. They deserve answers. Do not let them gaslight you like they've been doing for 4 years. And remember, Hillary told Joe Biden, don't concede no matter what. We will stay up to date on this and other things statewide and region-wide as the days continue. I'm with you. And if it turns out that we get rid of all the fraud and none of it mattered and Joe Biden still won, well, Joe Biden needs to go to jail for committing fraud. My name's Corey Allen, and this has been the Overton Report.